Welcome back to Consumer Picks. A good USB hub can turn one laptop port into a full workstation, but not every hub is worth buying. We tested dozens of models for connectivity, speed, build quality, portability, and real-world usability. One stood out as the most complete option. If you enjoy honest, hands-on reviews, subscribe. And let's start with number 8. Starting at number 8, the Mokin 5-in-1 10 gigabit per second USB-C to USB-C hub. You get 4 USB-C ports running at up to 10 gigabits per second, with one of them supporting up to 4K at 60 Hz through DisplayPort over USB-C. There's also a dedicated USB-C power delivery port supporting up to 100 watts input, allowing up to 85 watts to reach your laptop, while the rest can be used for connected accessories. Performance was solid in our testing, with around 689 megabytes per second write speeds and 612 megabytes per second read speeds using a 50 gigabyte test folder. Just remember that all those ports are still sharing the bandwidth coming from the upstream connection, so connecting several high-speed storage devices at once won't give every drive maximum performance. We also found that the hub could disconnect when running an external SSD from a desktop's front panel USB-C port. But connecting it to a rear motherboard port or USB PD power source solved the problem. It's often available for less than $30, making it a good budget solution for anyone suffering from USB-C port anxiety. At number 7, the Inateck HB2025AL. And this is the hub I'd look at if fast external storage is your priority. A lot of USB hubs still top out at 5 gigabits per second. But this one gives you 4 USB Type-A downstream ports capable of 10 gigabits per second, along with a 10 gigabit per second upstream Type-A connection. The downside is compatibility and placement. Very few laptops have 10 gigabit per second USB-A ports, and many desktops don't have one on the front panel either, so you may have to connect this directly to a high-speed port on the back of your motherboard. We also recommend the HB2025AL version with the longer 3.3-foot cable, rather than the shorter version we tested. I just wish Inateck offered a mix of USB-C and USB-A downstream ports, because every output here is still Type-A. But for fast USB-A storage, it's one of the better options around. Coming in at number 6, the Sabrent HB-U3CR, and this is one of the most attractive compact hubs we've tested. You get 3 USB Type-A 3.x ports running at up to 5 gigabits per second, along with both SD and microSD card readers. That makes this particularly useful for photographers, content creators, and anyone working with Raspberry Pi systems that rely on microSD cards. In testing, the Sabrent didn't introduce noticeable lag into file transfers, so you aren't sacrificing performance just by going through the hub. The main limitation is that you're capped at 5 gigabits per second, even if the computer you're connecting it to supports Thunderbolt or a faster USB standard. And while the 2-foot cable is perfectly reasonable for portable use, it can be a little short if you're connecting a desktop PC sitting underneath your desk. Still, for a compact travel hub with built-in card readers, it's a very solid choice. At number 5, the Satechi On-The-Go 7-in-1 USB-C Hub. The really interesting part is the mounting system. You can attach it magnetically to MagSafe compatible devices or use the included 3M adhesive pad for a more permanent setup. Connectivity is also strong for something this compact, with 4 KHDMI, Gigabit Ethernet, USB-A ports, an SD card reader, and USB-C pass-through charging. With up to 100 watts of input power, it can deliver up to 80 watts to your connected device. That's a very useful combination if you're working remotely and want to turn a MacBook, Windows laptop, iPad, or Chromebook into a more complete workstation without carrying a full docking station. The trade-off is that this is more about convenience and portability than maximum desktop connectivity. But if you travel frequently, move between offices, or work from cafes and hotels, the On-The-Go is exactly the kind of hub that makes sense. At number 4, the Anker 4-port ultra-slim USB 3.0 hub. At just 0.39 inches thick and 3.68 inches long, it's incredibly easy to carry around. You get 4 USB 3.x Type A ports and a built-in 2-foot upstream cable, plus a small hook and loop cable tie to keep everything organized. In our testing, the hub didn't negatively affect transfer rates, with an external SSD delivering essentially the same read and write speeds as it did when connected directly to the laptop. I also really like the build quality for the price. The hard matte black plastic shell feels considerably more premium than a lot of cheap USB hubs, with no obvious seams and a simple blue power indicator. The casing did pick up some scratches during our testing, but that's a minor complaint. At around $12.99 at press time, this is one of those products where you don't have to overthink the purchase. If you just need 4 additional USB-A ports and want something small, reliable, and inexpensive, the Anker is an easy recommendation. At number 3, the Satechi USB-C Multiport Adapter 8K with Ethernet v3. Connectivity is just as impressive. You get 3 USB-C data ports supporting up to 10 gigabits per second, a dedicated USB-C PD charging 10 gigabits per second, HDMI, Ethernet, SD, and microSD card readers, and another USB 3.2 port. The charging connection supports up to 100 watts of power, while the hub works with modern USB-C devices, including MacBooks, Windows laptops, iPads, and Samsung Galaxy devices using DeX mode. The biggest advantage here is versatility. Instead of carrying several separate adapters for your monitor, Ethernet connection, storage cards, and peripherals, you can consolidate most of that into one compact hub. It's not the smallest or simplest model on this list, but if you want one device that can handle a serious workstation setup, the Satechi has a lot going for it. At number 2, the Plugable 9-in-1 USB-C Hub. You get 4 kHDMI, up to 140 watts pass-through charging, gigabit Ethernet, 4 USB data ports, and both SD and microSD card readers. The pass-through charging is particularly convenient because you can connect your own USB-C charger to the hub and power the laptop and other devices through a single connection. The narrow metal design also keeps things relatively tidy, and it feels sturdy enough to survive being tossed into a laptop bag during travel. We tested the hub using a 50 gigabyte folder and measured around 621 megabytes per second write speeds and 830 megabytes per second read speeds. That's very respectable for a compact multifunction hub. The limitation is that the upstream connection is 10 gigabits per second, so if you're simultaneously transferring data through several bandwidth-heavy devices, that bandwidth has to be shared. And I would have liked to see another USB-C data port, because the second Type-C connection is dedicated to power pass-through. Still, for most people, this is an extremely well-balanced portable hub. At number 1, the Sabrent HB-2025AL is the best desktop USB hub for maximum connectivity and control. It offers 10 USB-A ports, 7 for data and 3 for charging, with individual power switches and status lights for every port. Those switches are genuinely useful for quickly powering peripherals, restarting devices, or managing electronics like Raspberry Pi and Arduino boards without unplugging them. Its solid build and 7 data ports make it ideal for a desk full of peripherals. The downside is that it's desktop-focused and USB-A heavy rather than USB-C. But for maximum USB-A connectivity and individual power control, the Sabrent HB-2025AL is our number 1 pick. Links are in the description. If this helped, leave a like and subscribe for more gear breakdowns, and I'll see you in the next one.